Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing 3 cards using the Simon Says stamp September Beautiful Mermaids kit. And this is a stamp set that came in the kit and a couple of the papers, and the embossing powder is absolutely gorgeous. But before I start, I just want to show you real quick. This is my little idea book, so long before I even get a stamp, sometimes before the stamps are even released, I'm already trying to think of which ones I want to buy and what I want to do with them. And for these cards, I want to do something a little different. So this is going to be my color palette, which I thought this is completely different than what normally you see for underwater color palettes. So we're going to give this a shot. So for card number 1, I wanted to do some ink smooshing, which I don't usually do because I don't really know how, but I figured I've seen enough videos, so I was going to give it a shot. So I took some of the Distress Oxide and just kind of watered it down a little and smushed it all over my paper. And then I take it away, take it over to my heat gun, and then I just, dry it with the heat gun and then move on to the next color. And I just picked some of the greens and blues that I thought would go well for the background, because I wanted to kind of make a almost not really a monochromatic card, because there's different variations of colors of the greens and blues in here, but it's basically all going to be green. You'll see as we start putting it together, but I'm just going to finish up the smushing and the drying and smushing and drying. And then I also wanted to add some shimmer to it. So after I finish smushing down all this ink and drying it, I'm going to pull out some Perfect Pearls and we're going to do some splattering. And then, there was just too many spots on the page where there was no color. So then I just started getting frustrated and just putting it wherever I could. So once I dry it all off, and then I set it under a block so it would kind of flatten out, I got out my Perfect Pearls. So that's the color Perfect Pearl, and then the other one is Perfect Gold. And after I did the Perfect Pearls, I realized I made a mess all over my mat. So I pull out my little Tim Holtz mat to do the gold one, so I don't have gold shimmery powder all over my work surface. And then I'm just going to tap that all over. And it's hard to see on the video, but in person, there you could really see that shine, and it came out really pretty. I like the way the background came out. So now I'm just going to cut out my panel with some stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to put them together and start. I'm actually going to attach them to the base of the card, because I've already pre-colored and fussy cut out all of my images. So now it's just a matter of doing all my backgrounds and scene building. So I did pop up the ink smushed panel with some fun foam just to kind of raise it up a little bit. And if I had this to do over again, I definitely would have used some black embossing powder instead of just stamping the sentiment directly onto the paper, because I don't feel like it was dark enough, but what's done is done, and it doesn't look bad. So now I'm just going to pop up my little mermaid in the middle and then build her scene around her using all of the little images that came in the stamp set. And these little images were actually pretty easy to fussy cut out, so I'm kind of glad I didn't order the dies, because I ended up ordering a lot of other stuff from Simon Says, which there's going to be some videos coming up. So now I'm just going to add some. These are from Pretty Pink Posh, and they look like water droplets, so I thought these would be like really cute on all of my mermaid cards. So here's a close-up of, this is basically my green card using some ink smushing. For card number 2, inside of your kit, they always send a little idea card in there with a bunch of stuff that their design team have done. And I saw one in there that looked like a wreath, so I thought, I really want to make a wreath. So I have my Spring Sprig from Lawn Fawn that I've had for a while now, and I've used it in a couple of other cards that I've done, but I decided to use it as my base because it kind of almost looks like kind of seaweedish. So I just cut out a whole bunch using the same paper pad, and then I cut out some little seashells and starfish and stuff that I had some dies for. These are not part of the kit at all, but they kind of go with it. So I'm just going to kind of set them in different layers of the wreath. And then I will take some of the images that I colored and already cut out and place them around the wreath, kind of popping them up here and there, trying to figure out where they're going to go. But once I got to this point, I realized I haven't cut down my panel yet, and it's way too big to fit on a card. So I needed to take my stitched rectangle die and cut the panel down so that it'll fit on a A2 size card, and also needed to put in my sentiment before I kept adding more and more on to where I wouldn't be able to get the embossing powder out. And I used the embossing powder that came in the Simon Says stamp kit. And sorry about that, I just smacked the microphone. And it's this really, really pretty sparkly blue mermaidy color. And I thought it really is a really nice embossing powder. Now I'm just going to pop up my panel before I finish putting the rest of my pieces on. And then it's just a matter of kind of situating them around the wreath part where I'm popping some of them up, some of them will be flat. And then once I got done with this, I realized, wow, this is like really cute like it is without adding anything else to it. But because I'd already colored all the mermaids and I wanted a mermaid on all of the cards, I ended up adding the mermaid as kind of like at the end, kind of an afterthought. It wasn't, I didn't really plan on putting her on there until I realized I really wanted to have mermaids on all of my cards. So I'm going to add some of the Pretty Pink Posh pearls on there, the clear droplets, I guess they're called. And then I will be popping up my mermaid and attaching her to this card as well. Oh, after I put it on the card base. It's really hard to do voiceovers after, you know, I did these cards a week ago, and now I'm just starting the voiceover now because I had to work, so I didn't get to finish editing and doing the voiceover until today, which is when I will be putting the video out, hopefully tonight. So I have to trim down her tail because I want it to be able to fit in a regular envelope. So here's a close-up of this one, which I think it came out really cute. I love that wreath. And for the last card, I want to do a shaker. And these are so not undersea colors, but I think it just came out amazing. It looks really cool in person. But I am going to start assembling it because I need my shaker parts to dry. So I just used a couple of stitched circle dies, and I made a bunch of rings. So I made 3 just plain white, and then 1 of the yellow, which I stack them all together. And then I also cut out 2 from Fun Foam. So those are going to all get glued together and set aside to dry. And then I'm just going to use my Distress Oxides and just put a little color down on the background of the shaker part. So this is the inside of the shaker. I'm basically using the same colors that I used in the first one where I did the ink smooshing, but I'm just, you know, blending them onto my circle. And then once that's done, again, I wanted it to shimmer, so I also have some Perfect Pearls in a spray bottle. It's really old, and I wasn't even sure if it still worked, but I sprayed it on my circle, and oh my goodness, look at that shimmer. That was a lot. So Perfect Pearls in a bottle doesn't ever go bad. Now I'm just going to glue this down, and then we'll start building our scene. So the Fun Foam, it took kind of a long time for it to dry this time. Usually it doesn't take that long, so I had to let it sit for quite a while. I ended up putting a real heavy books on top of it to kind of squish it down and get it to stick together. But you can see when I take the tape off, it just keeps rolling, like it just doesn't want to stick. So it probably would have been better if I had used tape, but in the end, I ended up just sticking a real heavy book on top of it while I was working on other stuff, and it ended up being fine. It dried. So now I'm just going to add, I wanted to do kind of like you're looking through a window and seeing like what's outside. So it's going to be, this is where I'm going to use the treasure chest and just kind of build a little underwater scene inside. So I'm just going to pop them all. Well, actually, no. I think inside here, I didn't pop up anything. I don't usually pop up anything inside of the shaker because I don't want the little shaker pieces to get caught. So everything is flat on the inside. And again, I'm going to use the last of the 3 mermaids that I colored on the outside of this. So for the next few videos, I'm trying to do at least 1 video a week. And so for the next few videos, there'll be some of the new products that came out, Lawn Fawn, and so I'm going to do some more fall cards, and I'm going to do some Halloween. I've got the Halloween series coming up, and you might have seen some of the pictures if you slow it down in the book of what the Halloween ones are going to be, but I think it's going to be super cute. So I really can't wait. And those will be the Halloween images from my favorite things. So that's the one I ordered. I don't get stuff sent to me. I have to buy, and I have a budget like everybody else, so I can't buy everything, even though I would love to buy everything because there's so many adorable. Every time there's a new release, I cringe because I really want to buy everything, but I have to really be picky about what I get. So if I'm making a card video, it's because I absolutely love it and I used my hard-earned money to pay for it. So now I'm just going to finish up the top of my shaker, putting the acetate on, and then putting my top ring on top of that. And then I'll stick something heavy on top of this and let it dry for a little bit. And there's the shaker portion all done. And next we're going to just kind of start adhering the rest of everything on the outside. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put her. And I really didn't want to cut off her tail because I thought she's just so pretty. So I'm going to do her this way and put her off to the side and kind of pop her up and glue her down. Just a little, not what I'm used to seeing for underwater scene cards or mermaid cards with this color scheme. But I think it really came out really cute. And these cards are already gone. So as soon as somebody saw them, they wanted them because their daughter, her bedroom is all mermaids, and she wanted all 3 cards because she's going to frame them and put them up, decorate her on the wall in her room with all 3 cards. So they're already out of my stash. Now, sentiment. I got so excited putting the mermaid on there, I didn't know what the heck I was going to do for a sentiment. So you'll see I just ended up using some black embossing powder on the yellow, scrap piece of the yellow from the card. And I ended up just kind of using her tail to prop up the sentiment. That was the best I could come up with. So make a wish upon a starfish, and I propped it up right there on the tail. And that, I believe, is all I did other than adding some of the pretty pink posh the little water droplets, and that's it. So that finishes up that card. I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by, watching my videos, and commenting, thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Also, there'll be a couple links to some other videos at the end that you can click on if you want to see some other Simon Says stamp card kit ideas. Hope you guys have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.